Hey guys, and here's your introduction to measurement. We're going to be developing our standard measuring skills. So if you see this icon, it means you need to copy it into your notebook. So make sure you have your notebook out. If you need to press pause, go ahead and do that now. Otherwise, every time you see this icon, you're going to be copying that information from that slide into your notebook. So why do we learn to measure? Although you're probably familiar with rulers, yardsticks, tape, rules, folding rules, and tape measures, you'll also find rulers on many machines that you use, such as saws, sewing machines, photocopiers, and computer scanners. Computer programs like Microsoft Word and Adobe Photoshop have electronic rulers that you can turn on to help you with the exact placement of items. As you can tell, reading a ruler is a very valuable skill that you will use almost every day, both on and off the job, in and out of school. So it gives you valuable skills for a job, valuable skills for hobbies, and then valuable skills for everyday life. So measurement systems here in the United States, there's two types of measurement systems. We have the standard, which is called customary. It's based on whole numbers and fractional parts of. And then you have the metric, which is the international system. And that's based on the number 10, power of 10. So this lesson today, we'll be going over the standard, U.S. standard customary measurement system. A little bit of background information. So all countries have adopted the metric system, including the United States. However, in nearly all countries, people still use traditional units. For a country to switch to metric is only a process that happens over time. Only 3 countries in the world have not officially adopted the metric as their primary system of measurement. 3 countries have not officially adopted their systems units of measurement are United States, Liberia, and Myanmar, formerly known as Burma. For the United States, at this time, manufacturing, transportation, and construction industries are primarily using the U.S. standard system. In certain sectors, the conversion is obvious, such as automobiles, they are using the metric system. However, in these industrial areas, the changes have not been as complete. This is the reasoning for studying both measurement systems used in the United States. Devices that can be used to measure, we have the ruler, a yardstick, a meter stick, tape measures, protractors, framing squares, architects, and engineering scales. Here are some examples. So here's a protractor. Everybody's seen that. Here's a yardstick, right? So you're going to have that whole yard measurement, and that's going to be in U.S. standard measurement, right? So 8 feet and inches. The architect scales has both U.S. standard and metric. You have a framing square, which is used in construction. You will be using this in the construction lab. And then tape measures. You'll be using these as well in the construction lab. And then our standard ruler. You'll be using this in our engineering lab and our construction lab. So how do we read the standard customary ruler? So we start off with the whole inch, right? The whole inch is from one side to the other. That's the whole inch. And then we have the fractional inches. And so we have halves. So we have a first half and second half. And you can see it's divided by this large line in the middle. And then you'll have the fractions of 2 as your denominator. You have quarters. And you can see that we have 4 quarters in an inch. We have eighths. Okay, so you see we have eighths. So 1/8, right? 2/8 reduces to 1/4, 3/8, right? 4/8 reduces to 1/2, 5/8, 6/8 reduces to 3/4, and then 7/8. And then finally 16ths. So every line, there's 16 lines in between an inch. So you start off with counting from the 1 or the 2 or whatever the whole number is. You're going to count 16 lines. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16 sixteenths is the next inch. This is how it's broken down, and this is what I need you to copy down. So you're going to take a moment and you're going to copy this down. You're going to draw this graphic into your notebook. You're going to label it as U.S. standard inches and fractional inches. And you're going to copy it down just like it is shown. So you're going to have 0, you're going to have the 1, you're going to draw your 16 lines up above, and then you're going to label them as it is labeled here in the slide. So go ahead and take a moment and do that. You may want to press pause at this time. So here are the steps when you're using the standard customary system. Step 1 is to find out how many parts the inches are divided into. You're going to count the spaces in 1-inch increments. This number will be the denominator. Step number 2 is to count the number of whole inches. You're going to write that number down. And then step 3 is to count the number of spaces after the last whole inch. This number will be your numerator, which is going to be your top number on your fraction. And then the last step is to reduce the fraction if necessary. So if the numerator is an odd number, it is reduced. So let's look at a review real quick. So this is a standard ruler, right? And we're looking for what the measurement is between the two lines. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to look at step 1, which is the denominator. So we're finding the denominator. So what do you think the denominator is? That's right, 16, right? Because we are at 16th of an inch, right? The denominator is 16th of an inch from right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So we're at 16. Step 2 is to count the whole number of inches. So what is the whole number of inches that were between these two lines? If you said 1, then you are correct, okay, because you're at 1 inch right here, okay, and then this is going to be your fractional number, right? So we figured out the denominator, we figured out the whole inch. Now we're going to do the numerator. So what is the numerator? Step 3 is the numerator. So what is the numerator for this example? Let's count it, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 sixteenths. Now, step 4 is to reduce, right? And so can we reduce this fraction, 7 sixteenths? No, we can't, right? So the answer to this question is 1 and 7 sixteenths. So now let's practice for these examples, A, B, C, D, and E, okay? So what's the distance from the end of the ruler to A? So let's look. Do we have any whole inches? No. Are we fractional inches? Yes. So we're at 16th. So the bottom denominator is going to be 16, right? And then the top numerator is what? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 sixteenths. Can we reduce that? Yes, we can. We can reduce that to 1/4 of an inch. 4 sixteenths reduces to 1/4. So what's for B? Okay, are we at an inch yet? Nope. So our denominator is going to be what? That's right, 16. And our numerator, which is going to be the top number, is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we're at 15 sixteenths. Awesome. Okay, guys. So what I want you to do right now is take a moment. You're going to write down C, D, and E, and you're going to see if you can get these answers correctly. So take a moment, press pause on the video, write down C, D, and E in your notebook, and then when you're ready, go ahead and press unpause and I will show you the answer. Okay, so C, are we at an inch yet? Yes, we are. Okay, are we using 16ths still? Yes, we are, right? So the denominator is going to be 16. The inch number is going to be 1, and then we're going to count for our numerator. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. So 12 sixteenths. 1 and 12 sixteenths. Can that be reduced? So 12, 4 goes into 12, 4 goes into 16. So can it be reduced? Yes, it can. And so what is it going to be reduced to? 12 sixteenths. 3/4. So 1 and 3/4. Is this making sense to you guys? I hope it is. I'm going to try a couple more. So D, if you haven't done it already, press pause. Okay, guys, here we go. D. So we're at 16ths still, right? And we're going to count our numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 sixteenths. So it's going to be 2 and 6 sixteenths. Can that be reduced? Yes, it can. It can be reduced by what? By 2. So 2 into 6 is 3. 2 into 16 is 8. So it's going to be 2 and 3/8. And then the final one is going to be E. And so we are at 1 16ths, 3 and 1 16ths. So ruler to E is 3 and 1 16ths. So how can you tell the difference between a standard or metric ruler? So you count the spaces between the whole numbers. If you get 8, 16, 30 seconds, or 64 spaces, which you'll see on those architect rulers, then you have a standard ruler. If you get 10 spaces, then you have a metric ruler. That's the easiest way that you can tell, is the number of spaces that are between the main numbers that are listed on the ruler. So here's a summary. So we went over that there are 2 types of measuring systems. Today we went over the standard customary system. What to remember about the standard customary system? You're having or doubling units. What whole number do you have? Your units are going to either be 1 16th, 1/8, 1/4, or half, or an inch. You can count each line and then reduce the fraction, which is what we did in the examples. And then you can count the line or patterns. So eventually you won't have to count. You'll be able to tell where the 1/8, the 1/4 inch, the 3/4 inch lines are. Okay, so there are patterns, and you will be able to recognize those patterns. If you've never done this before, my recommendation is to count the numbers. But if you have done this before, then you should already know those numbers, and then you can start memorizing the patterns that are on the rulers. Okay, guys, get ready to practice today's assignment. Make sure that you guys, if you have questions, you let me know. Otherwise, good luck.